Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Paint Table. This is my weekly show where you see what I got done, what I'm working on, and what is coming up. Now this week I finished off a huge amount of models for Riot Quest and Kings of War Vanguard. I did the new Undead box sets for Kings of War and the first wave plus starter set models for Riot Quest from Privateer Press. I've also got my Infinity Army for next weekend's Sword and Brush tournament on the way, and then I also have to paint up a couple more models for A Song of Ice and Fire. So let's take a look at what got done and what is coming up. So first things first, here's everything I painted for Riot Quest. First off, we have the starter set. This is the one-player starter set for Riot Quest. Gets everything you need. You'll also today be able to see a GMG review of this box. Next week we'll do a Let's Play, so you can get a little closer look at the 5 models that are in here. This is Sir Dreyfus. Kind of looks like a Storm Knight from Signar, but is not. He's just a big doofus wearing Storm Knight armor. This is probably my favorite miniature that I painted, Gubbins. He's a goblin with TNT. It does what it does in the tin. He's good at blowing stuff up, but that's that's basically his job. He's highly unstable. This is Eris. She's a bounty huntress now, of course, because Ios is blown up. The TLDR version of the story for this game is that the Infernals win, and half or 2/3 of all human souls go away, and the whole world is exploded in apocalypse. So Eris is on the loose and a freelancer now. This is Bam Fist. He's from Zoo, which is a continent outside the Iron Kingdoms. And he's a dwarf, but he's not from Rule. So very cool miniature. He's got like a little seeker bot, a little like golden snitch in his hand there, finds treasure and zooms around, and then he's able to obviously Bam Fist people with his Bam Fist, which just makes sense. And this is Dez. She's a mercenary and has a giant missile launcher used for blowing people up. And it also has like a beatback ability, which pushes people around too. The game is a 2 to 4 player arena combat sort of Overwatch style MOBA, where you pick a crew of characters. 4 of them spawn in, and you complete bounties and crack open treasure chests and spend your loot on equipping cool power-ups and riot gear and stuff. So those 5 miniatures come in the starter set. There's always 4 people on the pitch, so you have one on the bench basically out of the single-player starter. And what's nice is you get 5 out of the 6 available classes in the box too, plus a riot gear card, the Shard of Wrathrock, which makes one of them a fighter. So you have access to all 6 classes. And then this is the Wave 1 stuff I painted up. You got Boom Howler, also formerly of the Iron Kingdoms. He's now a solo artist, rocking a chain gun and what's called a great axe, but it's more like a great hatchet is back there. Also familiar is going to be Gorman the Mad. He sniffs a little too much of his own mustard gas and is now quite crazy, but operates a lot like Gorman that you would remember. And there's James, or as I call her, Stabitha, Clockwork Lady. She's a bodyguard, big guard miniature. From the Convergence of Cirrus, I believe it's called. And you have Widget. She's a fix-it lady with a big giant like Gordon Freeman Half-Life wrench. You have Black Bella, who's a duelist, the first fighter class miniature here. This guy's a gunner scout, I believe. Yeah, gunner, scout, guard. I think it's not miscellaneous. It's like fix-it or something like that. And then he's a either scout or sniper. I can't remember the names exactly, but she's the fighter. She's the one you don't get in the box set with her cool stab hands. And then Harlow Hold'em High, dwarf gun mage, who's awesome and good at double ambidextrous pistol shooting people. Yeah, and so these are the current offerings. So force construction, of course, we'll talk about it more when you see the GMG review and the Let's Play and stuff. But basically, the open play version is take 5 to 10 models, and those 5 to 10 models can be any mix of any models you like. And then there's going to be 4 usually in the arena at any given time, and you can spawn in more. And they were a ton of fun to paint. I painted them with I painted them all back to back in the course of 2 days. Monday and Tuesday, I painted all 11 of these models, and with like a variety. Like this guy had some contrast on him. So did Iris, that nice strong green. On the back there's contrast that I just highlighted up afterwards. And then most of the rest of these are traditionally painted, so like Des is just traditional paint job. And so is Boomy. But they were super fun to paint. They're all big, chunky character miniatures. And so like it's really hard to get bored painting them because you're painting something different every single time. And they were all just fun. Like they were all like big, fun to paint, heroic scale miniatures. So if you're a painter looking for a nice, quick, easy like kitchen table scale game, it plays on a 30 by 30. There's a paper mat in here, but there's also a neoprene mat that's gonna be available, I think, in a few days. You're very much, this is very much a game for you. It's a bit like a an open-ended Shadespire Aristea where you get to build like your crew of like plucky heroes. So if you like the steampunk thing, check out the GMG review today, and you'll be able to check out a Let's Play next week. And here is my undead warband for Kings of War Vanguard. I powered through like all the undead because I wanted to do them in an interesting way. I have had for a while this lime green fluorescent paint. It's almost like a wash or a candy from Green Stuff World. I wanted to give it a try. And so I did this method where you paint miniatures. I just airbrushed them all with like some zenithal grays, washed everything down, and did like a few like muted colors on like the shields and some browns and stuff on spots. And then I made my glow effect just by painting in pure whites and then washing in this fluorescent paint. I think it's really cool the way it turned out. I wanted to have like a spectral burning fire on the inside sort of army, and it was super fast to do, really fun, and I think it looks pretty sharp and unique. So like they're glowing basically wherever they are. They have like that halo of like glowing energy, and even my grave marker here, which I realized is actually a bit too small, but I'm not super fussed about it, is glowing coming out of the ground. And so I powered through all the grunts and warriors, and that meant skeletons, skeleton spearmen, a skeleton archer, the big flesh abomination, some armored orc skeletons over here, their big like crazy smiles and stuff, and like beat up armor. And I wanted the colors to be super muted so that the glowing really popped, and then some zombies and stuff too. So I did some like lots of washes and then blood and guts and stuff, and then had like that glowing green eye. So they have that kind of like, it's nighttime out, and these are all glowing as they come at you. And I finished in the morning I finished 5, 10, 15, 17 models that way with just some like basic like base coats and washes and stuff. I love this guy because he's a stitched together abomination of like different models, and there's like a goblin in there, there's an orc, there's a bunch of skeletons, just screaming faces everywhere. So it's super cool, really easy to do, and I think it has like a really unique, neat effect on the table. So I'm stoked to finish them off. I gotta do their leader cadre, which is right now I gotta paint a necromancer and a crypt ghoulie guy, the Gravedigger man, who are command models, but this is just over 200 points, and we're going to start playing the Ice and Iron campaign next week. Owen's painting up my Kingdoms of Men army to fight my undead using a lot of the Fireforge Crusaders and Teutonic Knights and Templars and stuff like that, and we'll do a classic Army of Darkness. It'll be Eric the Red versus the Army of Darkness with Baron von Badash. It's going to be great, and you'll be able to see that airing soon. And so here's some stuff that is coming up. First of all, the rest of the Vanguard stuff. I have a Wraith, a Revenant, a Halfling Vampire, my Digger Ghoul man who's there to dig the holes and raise the zombies, and then my weird lizardy Necromancer. I'm kind of excited to paint. He's got like a weird, like kind of like bayou sort of thing going on. I think it's going to be fun. And then over here we got Sirio and my Recruiter, who I haven't had time to pick, but I'm going to get finished for next weekend. And then finally, the 5-10 models. I got to paint up for my Invincible Army. I started laying down some base coats, got them all built with some foundation, or not foundation paints, the contrast paints. And yeah, gonna just finish them off one at a time. I like doing the big like blocked in colors, the foundation paints, and that lets them dry, and I can just go back one at a time and paint the rest of the details. So pretty jazzed about that. It's gonna be fun, and next weekend I'll be filming a whole bunch of games with them at the Sword and Brush. So there's some stuff coming up. I'll be filming some games of Song of Ice and Fire too. So yeah, there it is all coming up, and yeah, there's of course lots more to do as well.
So there you go, another, 28 models painted this week, which is pretty good. Add another pile of things I got done. And then, of course, we'll have, I guess, the Let's Play next Friday for Riot Quest. There'll be a whole bunch of other stuff coming for Kings of War Vanguard, which should start airing on Mondays relatively soon. And then on top of that, of course, you'll be able to see some new Infinity stuff with the Invincible Army coming up as well. And some more Song of Ice and Fire, too, because we'll be playing some games at the tournament. I haven't had a chance to play it since forever. It's been a while. So yeah, we'll play some of that too. So yeah, look forward to that. And of course, this takes me to, I think I'm at 522. So like 550 this week for 550 out of 886 for my overall goal for my painting resolution for 2019, which is pretty hefty. Getting up there. Gotta beat 886 though. So lots of work to do. So we'll see you next week for another On the Paint Table. Till then, I'm Ash. Happy gaming. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.